Do you want to do the intro with like tonight on?
Well, we're already going, so you just started it, so continue it.
Shit. Tonight on the first episode of Lords, we're looking for some balls. That's right, the 7 magical Dragon Balls. And we're joined by Atlas669 and
That's me and him.
Weston. Hello.
We have some Dragon Ball lo-fi playing in the background.
Yes. And some candles to set the mood.
That's right. We got candles. They're scented. They're making us smell very nice in the channel right now.
It smells fantastic in here.
We're live on twitch.tv/Atlas669, but we're also recording this for uploading other places to be determined in the future.
Correct us.
And tonight, as Pat mentioned, we're going to be talking about Dragon Ball. And
Yeah,
Pat
that's
will
right.
be the storyteller tonight.
Yes, so a little bit of what we're going to be doing on Lords real quick, but once a week, Atlas and I are going to be bringing a fun thing to the table that we know and we love, and we're going to talk about it together. Dish about nerdy fan theories and actual facts that people dive into the good nitty-gritty of what makes us love these franchises so much. And obviously, like Atlas said, Dragon Ball is the first up, because why the fuck shouldn't we start with Dragon Ball? I mean, we're both... it's both our childhood favorite.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. It's so fantastic, and so it was such an easy one to pick. And one of the things that I've always been obsessed with in Dragon Ball is all the different levels of scaling that they do, because they do a really nice, they have a genuinely great progression from all the way at the beginning in Dragon Ball proper to all the way up now to present day Super, and even the manga, because we'll talk about it a little bit. Remember, this is going to get a little spoilery at some point, so if you haven't seen any of it, get the no, enjoy. We'll try to avoid too many crazy spoilers, but it might be hard when we talk about certain subjects.
You'll definitely see spoilers for fates of some major characters, I would assume, but not necessarily like what happens in the general every detail. Not every detail won't be talked about.
No, not every detail. And again, we're bringing specific stuff to the table, and tonight I'm trying to bring. Like I said, progression and scale to this, and that's what I want to talk about in particular. And like this franchise, I also want to just mention, just to again praise it real quick, is not only influenced young little white boys in America, but it's like a worldwide phenomenon. Like it's like literally everywhere people can recognize Goku or Kamehameha or like something like that, and it's something that I always just like to.
As both of us who live in Los Angeles, I think we can both comment on the amount of how the best way to describe it would be thug lifers wearing button-up Dragon Ball shirts.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. It's like also all the Dragon Ball decals. I was literally driving. I was with Dogcake yesterday, and we were driving somewhere, and I saw a dude wearing a Goku T-shirt. It just had like his, it was actually specifically, since I almost have the symbols memorized. It was the Turtle Hermit Gi specific symbol.
I was just gonna say, there's a man who comes into my job a lot, and he's fully tatted up. I know for a fact because he's talked about it that he has served time in prison. And he's like completely older man, like reformed now, cool, super cool dude.
Yeah.
Comes in wearing a Turtle Hermit Gi shirt, like all the fucking time. Like it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's. I love that so much. It makes me so happy, because it means like it's one of those things that even like Star Wars and other franchises like that, like despite its flaws, it's still so loved, because like you can ignore the flaws because it transcends why it's good. It's like it's good for such a good reason. And that's what we're gonna dive into a little bit. And as I mentioned, like I think they do a really great job in the scaling in this show. Because like, what's funny is, and for those who don't know, Akira Toriyama, who wrote the original, basically all of it. Like he has writers too who help him out and everything as well. He has a writing team. But like in the original Dragon Ball, he wasn't entirely sure where he was going to go with things. The first 20 episodes of Dragon Ball, which is actually Dollcake and I are watching that. We're kind of like on episode 5 or 6 right now. Like it kind of, if you go back and watch it from the beginning, you'll kind of notice it's like it doesn't have a voice yet. It's very like, here's some characters. They're kind of wacky and funny.
It definitely takes a while to set up.
Yeah, it's like it's charming, but once it finds its legs, once it actually gives you a moment, and there's a specific moment that happens that's pointed out. There's actually a great YouTuber I highly recommend checking out if you like Dragon Ball lore. His name's totally not Mark. I highly recommend watching his channel if you like Dragon Ball theory videos. He's great, but he points out a very pivotal moment in the This is a little spoilery, but you know it's Dragon Ball, so it came out in the '80s for fuck's sake.
It's past spoiler range.
It's past spoiler range. In Dragon Ball, at one point, so the main villain in early Dragon Ball is this goofy little blue gremlin motherfucker named Emperor Pilaf, who I love Emperor Pilaf. I love Emperor Pilaf and Mai and Shu. I think they're great, goofy, like they're obviously fake villains because they're so dumb and bad at what they do. It's almost like a joke.
And for a note on that, I know a lot of people who watch Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Super or Dragon Ball GT, and they've never seen Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
They only know him as this extreme. All three of them as these silly little joke characters, and don't even know what he was.
Yeah, and like, cause he was originally the original villain. He was which is funny to me. You know, it's funny to think of Pilaf as like, but that also goes to show you that even though Akira Toriyama had no fucking idea what he was doing at the time, he still ended up establishing a villain that was inherently very weak and unintelligent as Goku's first villain to conquer. You know, like, it's actually not bad. Although technically Emperor Pilaf won, because if you remember, they got captured inside of the heat chamber. So Pilaf's a little fucked up, actually. So let's talk about his castle.
Doesn't he advertise himself as the evil emperor?
Yeah, and he's not necessarily wrong. Like, when he successfully captures our heroes Bulma, Yamcha, Puar, Oolong, and Goku, and he puts them in a giant metal box that has a sunroof, and his castle's in the middle of the desert, and they get captured at night. And Emperor Pilaf's just like, oh yeah, when the sun comes up in the morning, you're basically just gonna roast alive in there. All right. Bye. And there's literally nothing they can do. Like, Goku's not strong enough yet to break out. And this is what happens. So this happens around episode 20, somewhere around there, where this all happens. And they're all about to find the Dragon Balls, because they're all looking for that's like the first 20 episodes, is they're all just trying to find the 7 Dragon Balls. And at this point, they're all together basically. And they're almost there. They're almost prevented Pilaf, but gosh darn it, he got the Dragon Balls and he shoved our friends in the oven. And lo and behold, they kind of just start sharing a little bit of story time. And Goku talks about his grandpa, who hasn't mentioned too much yet. He hasn't talked about too much, but Grandpa Gohan. And he mentions that at some point a giant beast of some kind killed him, and he was super heartbroken about it because he didn't know he kind of blamed himself to some degree. He's like, I wasn't strong enough, and it's sad. And then shortly thereafter, Goku looks up into the sky and he sees a full moon. And if anybody knows Dragon Ball, they know that a Saiyan, which is of course established way later, if a Saiyan looks at a full moon and they still have their tail, they'll turn into an Uzaru ape, which is basically, or great ape. And so Goku transforms into the ape, and Yamcha, Bulma, Puar, and Oolong, they all kind of realize in that moment, like, oh, he killed his own grandpa. And that adds such a fucking, like,
It changes the tone of the show from there on out.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is sad as fuck. Like there's so many like moments like that throughout the show from then on out. It's like, oh, Goku's biggest sadness in his life was brought to him by himself, and he doesn't even understand that it was him or why. And that's what makes it kind of so cool. So, but anyway, so after they found their legs and Dragon Ball found their legs, they entered the first tournament arc, and then they started actually kind of understanding what the show was. It's like, and it's a character-driven show. It's about these characters interacting with the world. And Goku's first real villain after Emperor Pilaf becomes an actual menace known as the Red Ribbon Army. Now, that's actually kind of an awesome villain for him, because remember, at this point, Goku's able to shoot a Kamehameha. So this is like the first tournament arc. So he learns Kamehameha, he's super strong, he can basically beat any regular person in a fight except for, like, Master Roshi. Like, you know. So he's like the only one who can beat him, basically. Which is astounding for a 10-year-old boy. So the next villain, though, for him is, again, this Red Ribbon Army, which is kind of mysterious for a while. Now, there is established, like, governments in this world. Now, people don't... there's a theory that Dragon Ball takes place somewhere like... a couple hundred or maybe even a couple thousand years in the future, after sort of like there was something that happened to the people of our like existence, basically, like in our world, that like kind of small, like shortened the population but yet advanced us really far. Because if you notice in the Dragon Ball world, they're actually incredibly like technologically advanced. Like,
yeah, they have a lot of feature tech. There's also just as much like kind of feudalism.
Yes, exactly.
And there's also animal people.
And there's animal people.
So
and yeah, and they brought back dinosaurs.
Yeah, there's dinosaurs too.
Yeah. So like,
I could see it being some crazy nuclear apocalypse mutation kind of Fallout situation too.
It could be something like that, sure. Like that I love. That would be a fun. We could do a whole fucking
that's just what came to my mind when you were talking about thousands of years in the future.
Yeah,
like,
it's like something, but it is something like that where like, and the idea is that humanity to some degree have not like enlightenment, but they're not as war grubbing. But however, there are two opposing forces in this world, which is like, I think it's like the Royal Guard or the Royal Navy or some shit like that. I don't remember exactly what it is, and the Red Ribbon Army.
Oh my gosh, I completely forgot until this moment that was a thing.
Yeah, like the dog, remember?
Yeah, the dog. He's like he's like president or like king of the world, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because they call it. I think he's. I don't remember. I don't remember if he's king or if he's president or some shit. But whatever. But he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's a good boy. And they're good and they're just and they're like and it's tried to be articulated that it's a genuinely enlightened government where like it's for the people. Because like the idea is in this like whatever happened to our people. They moved on to understand that, like, because if you notice in Dragon Ball, there's more nature than there is cities, but there's towns everywhere. There's towns everywhere you can live in shitloads of places.
Cities with very creative names.
Yeah. Well, yeah, really, seriously. But most people just live in the cities or in miscellaneous. There's probably like hundreds of thousands of towns, all over the world that like we don't know about because they're just irrelevant. But like there are like only a few main cities. Like West City, North City, South City, East City. There's Ginger Town, which is another city. Hercule City.
You've also I know there's like West City. Isn't that one of them?
That's where Bulma lives.
Yeah,
West City.
I know
that's supposed to be America.
There's also there's also plenty of like natives. Like you see, there's like Native American inspired and Indian inspired people.
Yeah.
Cause
it's very worldly.
Yeah, in Dragon Ball, not so much after that.
Yeah, it's just weird that but it's a very, again, the whole idea is that these are people, like, everybody survived, everybody moved on somehow. Hey, what up, dog cake? Everybody survived and moved on. And so, and again, like, it's implied that there's evolution that took place. So maybe these cat and dog people were actually once cats and dogs. Maybe they were people, and like you said, maybe some nuclear fallout kind of type shit mixed them together. But they also cared about the environment because they brought back species from the brink. Like there's saber-toothed tigers as well.
Yep.
Like saber-toothed tigers are brought back. Like mammoths, I think, are brought back even. Like
and just like we said before, giant dinosaurs. Yeah.
And giant dinosaurs. So like in the Dragon Ball universe, it's theorized that we are again technologically advanced and more enlightened on our own planet. However, there is the opposing forces between the Royal Guard and Navy and whatever they're called exactly, and the Red Ribbon Army, which is like basically like the bad guys.
Yeah.
Right? They're just like they want to subjugate everybody and get everybody to do what they want, and like only the strong are allowed to rule and the weak, basically it's like the last glimpses of the old world. And so in a way, this is Goku's first challenge, is basically Goku and friends saving the world, like from this very real and normal threat that like is kind of only one of the only threats that we as people can technically relate to. Because after this, it's just fucking, crazy space aliens and shit.
So in this time, do we know? We were just talking about Red Ribbon Army is like the opposing thing to like the Royal Nation. Yeah. Where does Pilaf fit into any of that?
Well, if you remember, if you see his castle, he's the emperor of fucking nobody. He's basically a trust fund kid.
Yeah, like, and he doesn't have subjects. It's just him and the dog and the girl. Mayan Shu, yeah. Like there's no one actually like. He's not ruling over subjects. It's just a castle in the middle of a desert. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so basically, he's a trust fund kid. His parents are dead. But no one ever raised him, So he's just an entitled little
Yeah,
brat
and
who has a lot of fucking money.
He's got like limitless wealth at his fingertips.
Exactly. So that's all he's good for, and that's a good character, and he basically gets his just desserts exactly because he doesn't have any real power or intelligence.
Right.
So then the real threat, the Red Ribbon Army, comes into play because even Pilaf is afraid of the Red Ribbon Army because there's scenes where they get close to interacting, and Pilaf's like, "No, let's get out of here. Like, let's not deal with this. Like, this is way."
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, like there's like a Western Town episode or something that I remember. There's kind of like a oh fuck this moment. So again, the Red Ribbon Army becomes the real first threat. However, you have a now I think 12-year-old boy who again can shoot a push wave so powerful it can break matter apart.
Basically fires laser beams out of his hand.
Yeah, we can talk about what the different moves are too, because I can tell you the difference between a Gallic gun and a Kamehameha. You know, like why, like they're not the same thing. Like although they're very similar, they're not the same thing. Like Gallic gun has more of like a damaging burning aspect to it, whereas Kamehameha is more of a peaceful. Like it's a push beam. It's basically like imagine you pushing something so fucking hard that you blow it apart.
Right.
Like, but from the molecular level, it's not necessarily heat. That's
So and a good example to compare this to is in the comics world, Superman has laser vision that cuts things to pieces. Cyclops, for example, from the X-Men, has a concussive beam that is just a push force. Yes. So that's how he non-lethally takes out people.
Yeah. And that's exactly so. Like, and whereas again, Gallic gun has more of a burning, like I'm trying to hurt you.
You might get into this later, but I'm assuming it's just kind of how you train in the Dragon Ball world, like train your energy, like how you're committing to the attack is basically channeling your energy to be either murderous or not, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why like characters like Goku and Roshi and Yamcha and a lot of people can use Kamehameha because they're of Earth, and Earthlings in this time are inherently peaceful. Like again, that's why the Red Ribbon Army is such a threat. And going back to that, since they're the only threat, Goku basically runs through them. There's literally an episode where he runs through a fucking Red Ribbon military base and just blows it away. And also, it is implied later on heavily that a certain doctor's son was murdered in that battle, and then became the sole reason for vengeance in the
future
20 years.
Yes,
yeah, so it's really cool. But anyway. So Goku destroys his base, and he starts challenging Red Ribbon people. He challenges like a couple different agents, like Agent Silver, Agent Black, who's a black man.
I think the first one in the series, and one of the only ones. Also, Silver, always one of my favorite characters in Dragon Ball.
Great, yeah.
I absolutely love Silver.
Yeah. Fantastic, yeah, truly. And then becomes like what? Okay, so what's after that in terms of power? Well, now that we know that Goku can't be killed by machine guns and tanks and stuff, well, we need our hero to face something strong. Well, now we get into more mysticism, and the next power scaling thing is Tian Shinhan and his trainer. So Master Roshi's rival school. Now, the Crane School is what they're called. They're called I forget. I think it's Crane School, yeah, or School of the Crane.
I know it's Crane, yeah.
Yeah, and they are kind of the opposite of Roshi. Where Roshi's the turtle hermit way is, what is it again? It's like eat well, sleep hard, and train it's something like that. It's like train hard, play hard, and
it's about being it's to emulate the turtle, where it's like being relaxed and slow. Yes. But when push comes to shove, you're not going to move your ground.
Yeah, exactly. It's on the defense. That's the turtle hermit
which
way.
is just I think an analogy to like real life. Where a lot of martial arts nowadays, the ones that have survived are not ones based on killing your opponent. It's on self-defense.
Exactly. That's why that's one of the reasons why Dragon Ball always connected to me, because I've actually studied martial arts for 7 years as a kid and have a very big emotional and spiritual connection to the practice, and also and that's why Dragon Ball means a lot to me, because it's as if to me it's exactly what would happen if martial artists could manifest their energy. You know what I mean? Right. It would look like this. To me, that's what it is. Also because it's incredibly nostalgic, but So, but anyway, so like that becomes the next villain is this new, very powerful, almost seemingly unbeatable mystical human being named Tian Shinhan, who is awesome, by the way. Tian in Dragon Ball is one of the coolest fucking characters. He's an asshole for sure. Like at first, terrible guy.
Yeah, he is. Looking at him from his first appearance to him now is night and day.
Yeah, he's amazing. Like now he's like such a humble man because like he's a douchebag when you first meet him, and then like. I'm not going to spoil anything, but the progression of that next tournament, because this all takes place during a second world tournament. Like he learns some lessons. That's all I'm going to say. But like moving on. But after Tian Shinhan becomes like, okay, so what does Goku fight now? He's beaten the other most powerful humans. He basically brought world peace, like by stomping the Red Ribbon Army, in the dust. What next? Well, now there's an invader from outer space named King Piccolo. So like, and then so the next thing it becomes, like, it's this basically it's a demon. It's a space demon.
Yeah, he's known as Demon King Piccolo, right?
Yeah, he's named the Demon King. So like, and that just goes to show you like where the progression of the show goes. Now this is like this is the point in Dragon Ball that starts to shift into a tone of Z. Because for one, this arc, I'm not going to spoil it, starts in an incredibly dark way. It starts so dark, like, and it's one of those things that makes you go, "Oh, this isn't just a comedy, like silly martial arts show. This is sad and gets really crazy and real, like, and that's which is fantastic, and they do a great job. And then and this is when like again the tone of Dragon Ball shifts again into a darker tone, and where it starts to feel a little bit more like what we know Dragon Ball Z to be, and. So then here it comes. King Piccolo. He's a demon king from another world. He doesn't even know where he's from, to be honest, because he's so goddamn old and he has no idea. So he comes along, tries to conquer Earth, wants to subjugate all the people, yada, yada, yada. Typical villain stuff. And Goku fights him twice, though. He fights him as a kid, manages to beat King Piccolo. But then right before King Piccolo is about to be killed, he spits an egg out. Because this is how this race reproduces. We'll get to that a little bit later.
Which freaked me out when I was a kid.
Oh, totally. He spit an egg out and he just spit it across the world and it landed somewhere else. Goku didn't find it, whatever, no big deal. But it happened to be King Piccolo's son, who just happened to be named Piccolo, regular Piccolo.
Very inspired.
Very inspired. And years later, we finally meet the very first time an adult Goku, or like late teenager. I forget if he's like 18 or something.
I think it's
like
considered young adult Goku is like his official what he's listed as.
Yeah, so it's like, but it's the first time we hear Sean Schimmel as the voice actor.
Yeah.
Because and he's like anywhere between like 16 and 20, we'll say. So he's a lot older. He's matured. You know what I mean? He's tall now. He looks like a handsome young man. And then Piccolo shows up, the son of King Piccolo. And then they have basically their rematch, because that's basically all Piccolo knows is the wanton revenge for his father.
Right.
And then basically, things happen. Goku wins. Suck it, Piccolo. And then basically that ends Dragon Ball. And what I love what Akira Toriyama did, by the way, is he immediately launched into Dragon Ball Z in Japan. It's like, okay, good job, Goku beat Piccolo. Now it's Dragon Ball Z, and they're gonna fight somebody new, and they're like, wait, what? Like, and he's like, yep, and like it just picked up.
And we're moving on.
And we're moving on. Like now it's Dragon Ball Z, baby. And like, and as we know, the next thing to happen is, well, of course, there's gonna be more aliens showing up because
I think it's also if you're following our little short narrative, it's probably important to note that Goku got married.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. Goku has a wife now.
He has a wife, and that's the end of that's literally the end of Dragon Ball, I believe. That's like the last scene.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and then the next thing is, of course, Dragon Ball Z, which starts a couple of years later, not too many years later, and Goku's got a little baby boy, little Gohan, named after his grandfather. Very sweet and loving. Oh, nice, lovely thing. And they're all like, oh, let's have a reunion. It's been a couple years. We've all been living our own lives independently. Krillin, Bulma, Yamcha. Oh, they're all been doing their own things. Goku had a baby with Chi-Chi and all that. So nice, so beautiful. And then meanwhile, who decides to show up but the this long-haired fuck named Raditz.
It was a bigger family reunion than they expected.
Exactly. Well said, Atlas. Raditz shows up and reveals himself to be Goku's older brother. Goku has no fucking idea what he's talking about. And then he goes, well, okay, did you, hit your head or something as a kid? Ironically, Goku did. And thus we reveal more of Goku's origin story. What we do know about in Dragon Ball is that when Goku was first found, he was a little savage baby boy, and then he knocked his head really hard, and then he became docile after that. He basically got brain damage and became a good boy.
It's very heavily theorized that he literally has some kind of brain damage, mental disorder.
Yeah, and but it's one that ended up making him not powerful, but just pure. It ended up knocked the evil out of him, and he forgot what he was. He didn't know he was a Saiyan. So then he was just assumed he was a little baby boy and was raised on Earth as a good kid. But Raditz reveals that he is in fact a Saiyan. He's not of this planet. He's of planet Vegeta, and that he was sent to Earth a long time ago to subjugate it, because even a Saiyan baby, as we learned, can defeat armies of inferior nations like the Red Ribbon Army. And that's exactly what happened. But instead, Goku was supposed to take out the Red Ribbon Army and the Royal Army and everybody else, basically.
Mm-hmm. The whole world. Yeah.
Yeah, he was supposed to wipe out the world, but he didn't, because he got knocked around. So at that point, Goku is basically in denial. He finds out his real name is Kakarot. And by the way, all the Saiyans are basically named after vegetables, and that's basically a bit throughout the whole thing, which is wonderful.
Raditz is radish, obviously.
Yeah.
Kakarot is a carrot.
Yep. Nappa, which is pretty easy. Vegeta, which is just vegetable in general. Although there's Paragus, by the way. I have no fucking idea what that's supposed to be.
Yeah. Greek.
Yeah, right? Because then there's Broly, which is broccoli. But anyway, so then, but when Raditz is disgusted at Goku's purity and kindness, he goes, well, fuck you, I'm just going to kidnap your kid, who's a fresh baby boy Saiyan with a tail still, because you don't have a tail anymore, Goku, you disgusting, putrid commoner. That's by the way, that's a huge disgrace for a Saiyan. If you don't have a tail,
it's
huge disgrace.
Honestly, I'm surprised he would even take Gohan, because Saiyans are so much about the old world purity and pure bloodness. You think Gohan would be just as bad.
Yeah, you'd think. but no, he won't. But he's but he sees the tail, so he goes, maybe I can make something out of him. So he takes Gohan and kidnaps him. And Goku tries to stop him, but is basically rendered useless immediately.
With one very basic hit, he's knocked out of the fight.
Yeah, he's just goes to show you how strong Raditz is. Stronger than Piccolo was in Dragon Ball. And, fun fact, before Raditz shows up to see Goku, he actually bumps into Piccolo, because Raditz is looking for high power levels, because he knows that Goku's strong, because he's he's a Saiyan, of course he's strong. So Raditz uses a device called a scouter, which measures high energy readings or high power levels. And he found Piccolo first, fun fact.
Which even if you haven't seen Dragon Ball, you probably would recognize a scouter. It's in so many things now. It's a little earpiece that puts a piece of glass, and there's a bunch of different colors of glass just for style reasons. But it puts it over your thing, and the whole purpose is to just find people.
That's it, just to find high power level. So Raditz finds Piccolo first, and is all I guess I'm just gonna kill you because you're not who I'm looking for. You're just some stupid green little insect. And Piccolo's I'm scared of you.
Yeah,
I'll fight you.
which is our first kind of show of how powerful Raditz is, because. Yeah. Piccolo was the big threat, and he looks at Piccolo and sees him full power and is this is a little baby. Yeah,
exactly. And then right after that, it shows he goes to Goku, and then we watch Goku get knocked out in one shot from Raditz. So then Piccolo shows up and goes, hey, yeah, I met that guy already, and there's no fucking way in hell that we're going to be able to beat this guy on our own. So we have to fight together, and Goku and Piccolo basically team up to take this guy down and rescue Gohan.
They make an uneasy truce.
Yeah, and a very uneasy truce, because remember, they hate each other. Or, Goku doesn't hate Piccolo, because Goku doesn't really hate anybody, but Piccolo fucking hates
Piccolo's
Goku.
entire life has been growing up, which, by the way, because I think he's only, 5 or 6 years old at this point?
6 years old. He's something like that.
His entire life has been, he grew up from a child to an adult rapidly, which that's another topic to get into later another day. But of contradictions.
He's a super Namek. Like, that's the whole thing. He's a Namek beyond a regular Namekian.
But his whole upbringing has just been like, I need to kill Goku.
Yeah, exactly. So then the fact that he meets somebody who's genuinely more intimidating, because like Piccolo wants to subjugate Earth, he doesn't want to blow it up. So he's just kind of like, well, this guy wants to destroy the whole thing. I don't like. He literally like Raditz goes against both Goku and Piccolo's goals, which is good because then that means they can team up. And in the process, though, they kind of find like a lot of levels of respect for one another in that fight.
Yeah.
Like Piccolo sees more reason in mercy and sees more reason in in tactics and stuff like that, and also sees a huge power in Gohan that spikes. But to continue on to the power scaling a little bit, there's we're at the point now where we can actually start kind of looking at like this. I sent Atlas a chart that has a crazy amount of power levels on it. Now we're gonna get to this.
Which image is this? Is this the one with all the different branches?
It says like righteous path, wrathful paths, permanent paths, that kind of stuff. So from here we start talking about we're gonna get into the power levels. So in Dragon Ball Z, basically what I'm trying to wrap up by saying is they start fighting creatures from outer space. So Saiyans, and then after they fight Raditz, they end up fighting Nappa and Vegeta, who are way stronger than Raditz. And then after Nappa and Vegeta, they go to Namek, who they fight the Ginyu Force, and then Frieza, who are way stronger than Nappa and Vegeta ever were. Then after Frieza's dead and done, they go on and fight Cell, who is way stronger than Frieza was. And then you go on from Cell to Majin Buu, and when you get to the end of Dragon Ball Z, you're fighting Kid Buu. And Kid Buu is basically the manifestation of chaos in the universe. So he's just unbridled, absolute chaos and destruction. All he wants is blowing things up and destroying, because that's what he just gets him off. That's it. That's all he cares about. And he's basically, that's like his whole purpose. Is like, he's kind of a boring character narratively, honestly, but but it's a cool concept to at least like write in. It's like, no, how strong would be chaos manifested be? Well, it's Majin Buu. And so like the only way to stop him though is the power of basically planets worth of people using their energy together with a giant spirit bomb that Goku uses, which is a very special technique that we can talk about if you want to. But after Dragon Ball Z, what do you do after you fight the manifestation of a universal chaos? Like, the universe's chaos is manifested into an evil creature and they beat it. What do you beat after that? Well, gods. So that's Dragon Ball Super. Then that's what that comes in. It's like, well, now you're fighting the actual deities, because they already talked about deities in Dragon Ball Z. We've already met North Kai, who's King Kai, the first guy. Hey, how does he talk again? He's like, Goku.
Yeah, he's the one who never stops telling bad jokes.
Yeah, I love him, though. We love King Kai. Oh, good. King Kai teaches him Kaioken. It's great. So King Kai, and then we have... actually, this wouldn't be terrible for the other one, the God Hierarchy one, because this is the power level one. Maybe we should get to the God Hierarchy first, because that's kind of what we talked on. But
I guess this one? Yeah. No, it's the free... That's not that one. Go away. It's this one.
Here it is. Oh, that's the Frieza one, yeah.
There we go.
Oh, yeah, I'm on a delay, duh. So, all right, so this is the God Hierarchy. So, as you can see, we have, we see some Namekians at the bottom, which were, Piccolo, the Guardians of Earth, the Guardians of Namek, Korin, Mr. Popo, Nail. They're all people who are well aware and enlightened. And in this universe, that means they know about, the creators and how the universe is going and what's going on. And again, they're generally
it's not like they're religious people. It's like they just know exactly how it works.
Yeah, exactly.
They know the whole process. So it's just fact to them,
Yeah, exactly. Again, they're not religious necessarily. Some of them are, but some of them are not. Some of them are just this is just it. This is what it is. And then right after that is what are the Kais that look after the four quadrants of the universe. So north, south, east, and west. So and North Kai is King Kai, who is on Earth are in the North Quadrant of the universe, if that's how it's organized. Obviously, in this universe, that's how it's organized.
Yeah.
And so and the four Kais are basically there to generally just keep an eye out for things and make sure nothing gets out of whack or goes berserk crazy. And then they kind of report to the hierarchy. They report to the Grand Kai, who is. I don't know if it's technically canon or not, but he is but he's there, and he's just kind of the he just is the delegator.
The beard guy, right?
The beard guy, yeah.
Yeah,
Grankai is
so
more like the delegator.
just to clear that up, the whole question about his canonical existence comes down to the whole PyCon tournament saga, right? Because that was never written. That's only for the show. Toriyama never wrote that for like the actual manga series, which is what Dragon Ball comes from.
Exactly. It was fun, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it as a kid, at least. But, like, and I like Grankai as a general idea, because, again, all he does, and, like, and he actually is portrayed really well in this, because, again, he's just a delegator. His whole thing is he takes orders from the Supreme Kai, who we'll get to, and other Kais up high like that, and then he just, like, tells the North, South, East, and West Kais.
Yeah,
that's all he does.
exactly.
Like, and his lifestyle is basically that of a lazy, entitled, like, Kai, because he doesn't fucking do anything. He literally, like... He sits around, listens to music. He's lazy as fuck. He claims to be a phenomenal martial artist, but doesn't train at all. Like he just lets other people train on his world. Like that's all he does. And that's funny because like that way, like
and it's very heavily hinted that the only reason that's even a case is just because he's, like you said, he's so lazy and bored. He just wants to watch people fight.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very heavily implied that he's just bullshitting about fighting, period, and he just likes to watch it.
Yeah, exactly. Which is fine, you know what I mean? But that's what he does. He's just a delegator. And then there's you see King Yama over there. King Yama is basically where like your judge when you die. If you go, if your spirit can be reincarnated and flourish, or if it needs to be punished and before it can be cleansed and then reincarnated. Right. And so, because there's reincarnation in this, so when you die, your soul leaves the body, goes up, and gets cleansed. And if it's cleansed already, it can like go out and like exist and stuff, but then it gets eventually put somewhere else in the universe. But if you're evil, like all the bad guys are, you actually get put into hell or Heffel, home for infinite losers.
Yeah, which isn't that just an American censorship?
Yeah, exactly. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But you go to hell where you have to basically rehabilitate yourself, but if you're pure evil and you can't be rehabilitated, you keep your body and you just stay in hell. So like Frieza, Cell, the Ginyu Force, they're evil, so they just keep their bodies and stay in hell.
Yeah.
But like otherwise, spirits can be again, if you're a bad person in life, you'll go to hell, but you'll still get reincarnated after you like basically serve your. It's kind of like limbo in Christian lore, Western lore.
Yeah,
Western lore.
So what's the official reasoning as to why like Goku and Yamcha and Tien get to keep their bodies, for example?
Because they were profoundly good in life. They like just like the way that evil guys are profoundly bad and the pure evil and they're staying in hell. Good guys can stay in the afterlife and train forever because they were so good. Like,
so with that,
Goku, all he did his entire life was save people. So he was incredibly powerful. So, and it's also it's kind of, and here's the kicker. It's the Kai's way of keeping incredibly powerful mortals in check as well. So like, because Goku could remember, if Goku lived forever or something, he could influence that universe way more powerfully than somebody like Supreme Kai could. Because we'll get to that. Like, because then after Grand Kai is the Supreme Kai's attendants, and there's also other quadrants Kai, like the Supreme Kai. There's also like a North Supreme Kai, South Supreme Kai, blah blah blah. There's a lot of these Kais. Kais are actually like there's tons of them. They're infinite, not immortal, but they live. Well, no, they're. I
think they are. They are immortal, aren't they?
Well, they can be killed, but they can't.
Yeah, they live forever, but they're not invincible. They're just immortal.
Yeah, that's right. They're immortal, but they're not invincible. So like they can be killed, and so and their whole thing is creation. The Kais create life. They're the ones who decide on new species. They're the ones who make planets. They're the creators. That's literally what they're for. So where where King Kai and those lower ones that we see right above the Namekians again. In the picture, those guys are more there to observe and watch and like keep an eye out things, make things are in check. The other Kais, the Supreme Kais, they're the ones who made the shit. They made everything and the attendants and stuff like so. And then there's one other Kai, as you can see above it, on Don Kaio. Don Kaio is just an overseer and making sure that the Kais are doing their jobs. Again, kind of like Grand Kai as a delegator. He also protects the Kais. However, Majin Buu, and this is why Majin Buu is so evil, killed almost all of those Kais except for the mohawked, white-haired Supreme Kai to the right. And so, like, on that hierarchy, like, he's the only one who made it, because Don Kaio was absorbed by Buu, and then the other Kais were murdered. And so he's the only one left, and that's why Kibito is his attendant, because Kibito is his Kai in training. Right. Because they need to train more Kais. And so, but Supreme Kai of our universe is relatively young, and this responsibility was thrust upon him because of Majin Buu. He's been doing it for a couple thousand years, okay, because he sealed Buu away. But after Buu gets unleashed again, that's when he comes to the help of people like Goku, because he's like, hey, we've been keeping an eye on you for like decades now, but we weren't going to come and say anything, obviously. But we need your help because this thing, Majin Buu, could genuinely destroy the entire universe, and I'm not strong enough to do it alone.
And you guys are pretty legit.
Yeah. You guys kind of broke all power of morality, or not morality, all like of mortality. There it is. So like, you guys need to help.
Yeah.
So that's why Supreme Kai shows up in the Buu saga and asks for their help, because Supreme Kai, yes, they are immortal. Yes, they are creators of life and the universe. That doesn't necessarily make them powerful fighters. And you know what I mean?
See, I had completely forgotten about the initial one, the one above the Mohawks.
Oh,
I had forgotten that was a character, and that's why Buu looks like the way he does.
Yeah, because Kid Buu, fun fact, absorbed another Kai, a big buff Mohawk Kai, turned into a big, bulking, almost looking like Super Buu type of Buu. And then Don Kaya was too powerful and was actually basically winning. Don Kaya was winning against this Super Buu form. Bear in mind, Kid Buu is the most pure and powerful form of Majin Buu.
Right.
But that's not how he saw it, because he's a dumb creature of magic. He just saw things beating him as strong, so he wanted to absorb them, because that's the ability Majin Buu has. He can literally form his body over you and take you in and absorb all of your characteristic traits and intelligence. Like, it's gross, really. Like, and so he does that to Don Kaio. And Don Kaio is, like, similar to Grand Kai, lazy as fuck. He just sits around, eats pastries, hangs out, listens to music, goes fishing, and watches after the other Kais as they create things. That's all he does. But he's still mega powerful. But he's killed and absorbed by Buu. But that makes him the Fat Buu, which then, because remember, it absorbs your personality and intelligence. So Majin Buu then became the lighthearted, innocent Kid Buu, because he absorbed basically an innocent, like, a Kai. So
yeah.
From there, the hierarchy goes. Obviously, you see the destroyers. Now, the destroyer god Beerus is connected to the Supreme Kai. Now, they are a pair. If Supreme Kai dies, Beerus goes with him. Now, who's Beerus? He's a god of destruction. What is that? That's what they introduce in Dragon Ball Super, because that's what they have to do after a chaotic manifestation of magic that destroys the universe. That is Majin Buu. Where do you go from there? God.
And not only any god, but a god that destroys things in a chaotic manner.
Exactly. So, but is Beerus evil? No. Obviously.
No, absolutely not.
Spoiler alert, no, he's not.
Beerus is a good boy.
The point of Beerus is to keep basically things like Frieza and Goku in check. Now characters like Frieza, for example, knows of Beerus, and the reason for that is because Frieza is so fucking powerful in this universe. He's so strong that he knows about Beerus, because no one can challenge him except for Beerus. So like he knows about him, because like Beerus will show himself. He's not shy. Like if he feels the need to show himself on a planet, he'll like show up and be like, "Hey, what's up?" Right. I'm the god of destruction. You better impress me right now, or else. Yeah. And he does this at the very beginning of Super.
Yeah, and it's also established in the next saga with Frieza that Frieza knows who he is, like you just said. They know each other, which leads us to believe that he visited Frieza at some point in the past.
He might, or his dad, King Cold.
Or his dad, yeah.
I think actually they did. Now that I think about it, I think there was a scene where he visits King Cold and he basically steps. Oh no, that's King Vegeta. Never mind. But because Beerus visits King Vegeta. And basically, what I'm saying is a god of destruction will show himself to any species that has shown themselves to be extra powerful, like a Saiyan or like a Frost Demon, one of Frieza's race. Like he'll show himself and be like, "Hey, by the way, I exist. If you fucking go out of hand and start blowing everything up, I'm coming in and I'm going to take care of you." That's one of the reasons why like Frieza ends up subjugating a lot more planets than he blows up necessarily.
Right.
Because if he doesn't, then Beerus will come along and will just destroy him. And Beerus has an ability called Hakai, which is like it's just the destruction move manifested. Like it just gets rid of things. It's all it does.
It just deletes. Yeah.
It's not a move. It's not about. It's not like what kind. Is it a powerful blast? No, that's not what it is. It just deletes. Like
he's taking the mouse and drag selecting a planet, and then hitting delete on the keyboard.
Yeah,
and it just goes away.
It's exactly so. It's not like oh, so if Goku pushes Kamehameha against it, no, that's not how that works. Like it also starts to expand what we know as power levels, and this is now why it's good to have both of these up. What's up, MJ? That's why it's good to have both of these charts up right now, because like now that we have a hierarchy, we can start getting into the power levels and stuff like that. Because like as we know, Goku is right here under the righteous path.
Right. Before we go down to that, because I'm also not 100% sure, the angels, like Whis.
Right.
So it's led to believe that he's stronger than Beerus.
He is.
And he trains Beerus.
Yes, he's his attendant. But he's completely objective to everything. He's solely there to guide him at the order of Zeno, which is the football-headed little purple...
yeah. So the angels are like the direct servants of Zeno, right?
Yes, yes and no. They don't really serve Zeno as much as they just kind of like they articulate what Zeno wants without, because Zeno, by the way, is like Zeno is the all-seer. He's the seer of all 12 universes, but he is the personality of basically a 3-year-old child, and that's done on purpose because it's supposed to represent the fact that the universe itself is just a wee baby and needs to understand itself. The whole Zeno is supposed to be the young universe in manifesting
right,
into
and
a
it's
character.
all just kind of chaotic and wild.
Yeah, because Zeno and what makes Zeno happy could be a fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what happens in Dragon Ball Super. They have a universal tournament where all 12 universes, 8 of the 12 universes, fight it out. I think it's 8 or is it 10? I don't know. But a bunch of them fight it out for supremacy and survival because that's what Zeno wants, and what Zeno wants, Zeno gets. Because Zeno has a similar ability to Beerus, to his Beerus Hakai, but Zeno has the ability to just snap a universe out of existence.
I think it's hinted that he has the ability to do anything he wants.
Yeah, he can.
He is just God.
Yeah.
He's the god of gods, so he can do whatever he wants to do.
But again, his personality is that of a child, so he's not inherently he's not good or evil. He's just kind of a chaotic little thing. But he wants good things. He likes good things. Because he's a kid and he's got a little bit of morality. I have no idea, though. I don't know anything about his attendants. Those 2 guys standing to his left and right, the menacing-looking guys with the turtlenecks.
Yeah, I would assume that they're nothing but just creatures created similarly to the angels just to physically guard him.
Yeah, that's probably it. Because we don't technically know if his body is powerful. It's said that he is, but we don't know if he can be killed. He might.
It makes me think of the idea of a regent king, a child king back in the day.
Yes.
They're all powerful, but they still have someone watching over them physically. Maybe because he's so young, he is physically weak.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Goku does pick him up without any effort when he shakes his hand. He just whips him around.
Yeah.
And he loves it, thank God.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where we can pivot to these power levels. Because again, so we talked about the angels now, who are attendants of Grand Zeno, and then the Supreme Kai and the gods of destruction. Well, Valheim, it sounds good, MJ. But they're there to basically just they create the universe and keep Zeno occupied. In a way, and as fucked up as it sounds, every universe basically exists to keep Zeno away from boredom, so that he's happy. And when Zeno sees a universe go too sour, he'll get rid of it, because even Kais and gods of destruction are susceptible to negative influence. They could become evil. There are evil Kais, there are evil gods of destruction. It's argued that between Beerus and his brother Champa, because Champa is another god of destruction from a different universe, that they actually that Champa's a little bit more on the evil side than Beerus. Beerus is just lazy, but he's kind of a good guy. Whereas Champa's kind of an entitled little dickhead, and they have to be more objective though, because again, the job of a god of destruction is if a planet or a species is getting too out of control and starting to cause chaos in the universe, the god of destruction shows up and goes, okay, bye.
I saw a post a long time ago, back when Super was airing, that some guy had listed all of the known destruction gods, that we only really know Champa and Beerus, but you see other ones, and they kind of attribute some of the 7 sins to them.
Yeah,
and they all kind of follow that as like that's kind of like that might be their inspiration, like where Champa is like wrath and Beerus is sloth. Yeah. Also glutton though, because he eats a ton. So
he loves food more than anything.
But I think that's kind of a side effect of just his slothfulness, though.
Exactly, that's true. But that's what's so beautiful about it is like even the gods who are seemingly all powerful have incredible character flaws, and which is wonderful. And again, now to get into the power levels, like this just goes into this now then helps diversify power levels. So early on we have base form Goku. Let's pay attention mostly to wrathful and righteous paths because that focuses on regular Super Saiyan the most, but also kind of goes into divinity a little bit. So in the Dragon Ball universe, you can kind of cut out demonic and evil paths, primal paths. We'll ignore a little bit, but we'll get into some of the other stuff. So now that we're getting into this, as the show progresses, like we were saying, Goku needs new training in order to face these otherworldly powers that can destroy planets. So he needs himself to undergo certain transformations. He actually learns a technique called Kaioken, which is basically a transformation that, at the expense of his health and well-being, he gains incredible times boosters to his like strength, speed, senses, even his thinking. Like his thought process is sped up. But again, it hurts him physically. Kaioken, it's a red. It kind of looks like Berserk Saiyan, which is ironically under the evil paths. It kind of looks like that.
Yeah, you just have a glowing red body.
Yeah, and it hurts like a bitch. And you need to be able to train with it because if you can't, you'll basically blow your body apart if you don't know how to use it. But it's like the more Goku uses it, the trick. Here's the trick about Saiyans. Actually, Saiyans have something called a Zenkai Boost. I have this written down right here. A Zenkai Boost is when a Saiyan is incredibly hurt from battle and recovers. Their body basically learns from the previous injury. In other words, they get stronger. So if a Saiyan loses, if a Saiyan lost in a way that was like he got pounded with energy blasts into the ground and he lost the fight, but then he didn't die and he was able to recover. His body is going to be better at withstanding energy blasts, and his body is going to be better at understanding energy blasts and can then do them more powerfully himself. That's what a Zenkai Boost is. It's like a boost of, I believe, anywhere between 5 and 20% power every time. It's like pretty absurd. And it depends on how much damage you take and how much you witness in the fight. Like if you just show up to a fight, get hit once, knocked out, and you're like out cold, you're not really gonna get a Zenkai Boost from that. But if you're like in a fight and you're in the gritty for like hours and you're getting pounded in the ground,
I think in the Frieza saga he officially says it's from exerting yourself to the max in a battle.
Yeah, exactly. When he fights Captain Ginyu, he exerts himself to the max, and then therefore needs to recover, and also loses his body. And then when he fights Frieza, he even exerts himself to the max, to the point where he becomes a Super Saiyan. But then that gets to Super Saiyan. So, as you can see, under wrathful and righteous paths Super Saiyan's in between that. But how to manifest Super Saiyan is from anger, Pat. How is that righteous at all? Well, it depends on who you are. And also, there is Pseudo Super Saiyan, which is also known as False Super Saiyan. Goku does technically transform it once. It gives you the golden aura and makes your hair stand up, but it does not transform your hair blonde or gold, and it does not make your eyes blue. Instead, it makes your eyes just completely white. It's similar to Super Saiyan, but it can't be held for very long. And it's like it's almost like you transform into a Pseudo Super Saiyan right before you transform into a Super Saiyan. But what is the Super Saiyan transformation? Well, it's a power boost of, I think, like times 50 or something. But it also obviously, as you all know, it envelops yourself in a golden aura with golden hair, and your eyes glow extra bright, so they almost appear like a bright blue turquoise color. And you get super fucking strong. And similar to Kaioken, it raises your strength, your speed, your thinking ability, your senses, and all those things. But not at the expense of your body. So your body does not take any damage from being in a Super Saiyan form.
At least not the first Super Saiyan.
At least not the first Super Saiyan. Think of Super Saiyan as being on a new plateau. Like you reached a plateau and you're like, oh, I'm a Super Saiyan now, and I'm just a Super Saiyan. It's kind of hard to maintain because, again, the trigger for Super Saiyan is raw, pure emotion. in order to achieve Super Saiyan, you like something has to happen. And so like, and most of the time it's sadness and anger. So when Goku transforms, he sees the loss of his friend. When Trunks transforms, he sees the loss of his mentor. When Vegeta transforms, he wants it really badly.
When Goten transforms, he's sad and crying.
And he attacks his mom. Oh, God. But we can get into that, but there's a little bit of logic to why Goten can turn Super Saiyan as a child. And it's kind of funny. And we'll talk about that. And because this actually goes into the training. So as you can see, this chart is a little bit obnoxious, and it kind of goes into other Super Saiyans. So there's Super Saiyan Grade 2, Super Saiyan Grade 3. That is not Super Saiyan 2 and Super Saiyan 3. That is Super Saiyan extra power, like powered up to the max. When Goku turns into a Super Saiyan against Frieza, it is not the same level of strength as when Goku fights Cell as a Super Saiyan. When Goku fights Cell as a Super Saiyan, he could whoop his past self like hard because he goes through extra training. Because Super Saiyan itself isn't just a plateau.
It's like he went through a whole nother life of power gaining.
Yeah, exactly. So Super Saiyan itself is more power gaining. Well said. So like, and when he reaches that Super Saiyan grade, what is that? Grade 4? Is it say grade 3? Yeah, Jesus Christ, grade 4. Whatever. When he reaches Super Saiyan grade 4, he's able to basically slip Super Saiyan on and off like a glove. Like, it's not about manifesting anger anymore. It's about being like, oh, I know how it feels to be a Super Saiyan, so I'm just gonna snap into it. And that's what Goku and Gohan are able to do right before they fight Cell. They're able to, they just turn it on. And the training that they put themselves through is they stay in Super Saiyan for they've stayed in Super Saiyan already in the hyperbolic time chamber for a couple weeks or months, and then after that. They spent one more full week before the Cell games just staying in Super Saiyan. They never powered down. So they lived that entire last week before the Cell games as a Super Saiyan, which is actually harped upon and is kind of a funny moment where there's a great like small moment between Krillin and Goku. Goku sitting in his Super Saiyan form is lounging underneath a tree, sleeping. He's taking a nap. And Krillin's like looking at him going, man, Goku is the man. Look at him. He's a Super Saiyan right now. That guy can sense everything in like 100-mile radius. Anything that comes at him, he'd be able to dodge or blow up in no time. So Krillin gets the bright idea to pick up a rock and throw it at Goku because he's like, yeah, Goku's going to shoot this out of the air before it even gets close to him because he's just so powerful because he's a Super Saiyan. It hits Goku in the face and it hurts him really bad. Because Goku isn't, like, he's so comfortable as a Super Saiyan, he can let his guard down completely while he's powered up. And even though Super Saiyan is technically a guard, you have to have your guard up in order to defend. Like, that's the thing about, like, these powers, which is something I love a lot, is Goku can get shot and it can actually hurt him very badly, or if he's ready for it, it won't hurt him at all. Like, it all depends on his awareness and his ability. And in that moment, Goku doesn't think Krillin's going to throw a rock at him. He's like, nah, my friend wouldn't do that. My friend's hanging out with me. We're fishing. Yeah. He's not going to throw a rock at my face. So he doesn't think it's coming. And then he gets hit in the fucking face. Like, it's that right there. It goes to show you what Super Saiyan is. It helps define and round out the power more. That it's not just a power boost to all these things. It can be mastered. And then after that, after you master Super Saiyan the way that Goku and Gohan did, then there's a potential of achieving the new level, which is Super Saiyan 2, which is, again, another plateau, which is like another 55 times power booster to Super Saiyan. So it's like, if Super Saiyan is times 50 to your power, Super Saiyan 2 is times 55 or 50 to that. So it's like, and it's absurd. At that point, you can blow up half of a solar system.
Yeah, it's a stacking power boost. It's not like going back on your base. So there really isn't a penalty, right, to going form to form.
Yeah, there really isn't a penalty, except for your stamina. It's a little bit harder for you to, like, if you go on a run as a Super Saiyan, you'll do it better, but it'll be a little bit more exhausted than if you did it in your base form.
Right.
So that's, and remember, base form for everybody is just your normal self, like no power-ups, just base form. Even though you're doing things better as a Super Saiyan, it will tire you out a little bit faster. But again, that's why Goku and Gohan trained the way they did, is so they would be able to just, do everything as if they were in base form. So which is really cool. And then so in Super Saiyan 2 is basically like again is the next level beyond that. So it's like it can be mastered the same way Super Saiyan can, but it's so significantly hard to do that. In Super Saiyan 2 it's so much harder to master that. But it can be done, and it is done by Goku and Vegeta. It's implied, especially in Super, that they can just slip on Super Saiyan 2 like gloves as well. Then there's Super Saiyan 3, which is you see the long hair, no eyebrows, kind of goofy looking.
The famous caveman face.
Yeah, the famous caveman face, Goku. Super Saiyan 3, however, is again it's another times few multiplier on top, a times 50 multiplier on top of the times 50 multiplier on top of the times. So again, it's absurdly powerful. Goku could basically blow up an entire solar system in a half with one shot as a Super Saiyan 3, to give you an example.
Right.
Like, if Super Saiyan could blow up a planet, Super Saiyan 2 could blow up half of a solar system, and then Super Saiyan 3 could blow up another solar system and a half. Like, it's like to kind of give you a little mild measurement here. I mean, it's a little bit more than that, but because it's so hard, it's actually really hard for a mortal body to maintain that type of power, because Super Saiyan 3 is actually edging on something greater of divinity. Super Saiyan 3 is one of the highest levels you can get, with the exception of Super Saiyan 4, which is achieved a totally different way, as you can see from the chart, if you're paying attention.
So if this chart is what I think it is, could you
yeah,
become Super Saiyan 4 without ever becoming Super Saiyan 1?
The implication is, in order to become a Super Saiyan 4, you have to transform into a golden great ape. A golden great ape is basically a great ape in Super Saiyan. So, like, it's a great ape, which is base form, transformed into an equivalent power of a Super Saiyan, but again, as an Uzaru or a great ape. Then it's getting your mind under control, because that's the thing. It's calming down. If you can calm down in Super Saiyan Uzaru form, you can then transform into your body into that. I actually love the Super Saiyan 4 design.
I think it looks great. Yeah, I've always thought it was cool.
Fucking awesome. Like, you become that kind of basically like half monkey, half Saiyan looking thing. Like, you're furry. Like, it's not a red jacket he's wearing in Super Saiyan 4 over here.
I've always really liked it because it's kind of going back to the Journey to the West, like Goku based off of the Monkey King from the Chinese story. Yeah, like he looks like that.
Love that.
He basically I could see that art just being a version of Sun Wukong, like the Super Saiyan 4.
I love that. It's so nice. Yeah, and this also, Super Saiyan 4 is also fantastic. Even though GT is terrible, Super Saiyan 4 is great and still technically canon. From what I understand, it is canon.
Yeah, especially because Heroes is canon, right? It's just part of the multiverse. So it's like it's all like, it means anything that happens in that is possible in Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
So
exactly. And it's tapping into the primal thing. Yeah, exactly, MJ. He had a good thing.
Yeah, it's from what I understand, hearing is that I've never seen Heroes. I know some people like it. It's just a fan service show.
It is totally.
But I think that's like what most of this chart is. Like most of these things are just stuff from Heroes.
A lot of these things are, but what isn't is like Ultra Ego, for example. That's canon now because that's part of the manga. So that's the new stuff. But like that's why I kind of said ignore the stuff to the right, because a lot of that shit's garbage from.
Yeah, but also like Super Saiyan Rose 3. I know that just happened in the Heroes show.
Yeah, so exactly. So we're not gonna. I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah, but I mean, I also don't think it's that big of a shocker because, of course, it could be real. Like, why wouldn't it be?
Yeah. Well, the thing that I do like about this chart, though, it shows the diversity and how you achieve forms. Like, there isn't just like, well, he's a Super Saiyan, so he's stronger than other forms. Now it's like, no, like a Super Saiyan, if you master it, can go up against like a Super Saiyan God. If the Super Saiyan God is naive and doesn't know what they're doing, because it all depends on because the Super Saiyan God is not the same thing as a Super Saiyan. They're two totally different like types of power. Because a Super Saiyan God uses divine power, divine energy, which is a totally different thing from regular mortal energy, which is what Super Saiyan uses. So like, I can hardly read it.
I did try to look up, for people watching, I did try to look up a higher res version of this chart. I cannot find it.
Yeah, there's no.
It's just uploaded at it's uploaded at a very low resolution,
which sucks. Yeah, it made me upset. So
I can barely read it, but yeah, the Super Saiyan Ultra Ego there's God, and then below it is God something Super Saiyan, God-like Saiyan.
Yeah, God-like Saiyan. That basically, so in Battle of Gods and in the first arc of Dragon Ball Super, Goku fights Beerus as a Super Saiyan God. He achieves the Super Saiyan God power through a ritual, not through his own training. However, after the Super Saiyan God power wears off, his body, because it's a Saiyan, remembers what it was like to have that kind of power. That's what Godlike Saiyan is, because Godlike Saiyan is basically like, it's base form Goku, but with the awareness of what it felt like to harness.
They talk about that, right, in the show. That's directly said. It's like, oh, now your body's used to this. You have like the God key in you or something.
Yeah, exactly. So like, even though, because he was just fighting Beerus at that point as a Super Saiyan 2, I think he was just a Super Saiyan 2, and he was fighting him, but he was keeping on par with him because he knows what it's like to fight against a god now. Like, now he learned what it's like to go up against a god. He knows what it's like to match a god's power. So he knows what he has to do even with his normal mortal energy from there on, which is really fucking cool. Like, it shows the adaptability of energy, is that, like, there's other ways to do it. And that's why I love what they're doing with, like, Ultra Ego and Ultra Instinct and Super Saiyan Blue and Super Saiyan Royal Blue, which is, like, Blue Evolution, which is what Vegeta achieved in the Tournament of Power. Like, these are transformations that are incredible. And also Super Saiyan Rage, which is what Trunks does in the Goku Black arc, which is basically Super Saiyan 2 manifested with divine energy without an understanding of divine energy.
Yeah, and isn't it also implicating that now that he has that God key in his body, he is now technically a divine being?
Yes, yeah.
Which is why things have changed. I'm talking about Goku, which is why things have changed, are now forever open up to him, because he's now officially and now Vegeta too, because we saw him go God mode. Yes. So they're both like technically gods. Like they're technically just officially gods now. They're like,
they can transform into gods.
Yeah,
when they're in their base form, they can, again, they're not really.
Yeah, but they have the ability to become gods, which is pretty major.
Insane.
And opens up a lot of different avenues for them to explore, for the writers, for Toriyama to make crazy forms like Ultra Instinct and stuff like that.
Exactly. And it also diversifies the power, because as we know, like, Goku had some pretty crazy powers where, like, he had mind reading. I don't know if people remember that, but he read Krillin's mind in the Namek in Dragon Ball Z.
Yep.
Like, so he's had some crazy powers before, which does imply some level of divinity. Like, Goku already has some of these things, because that's not a power of a Saiyan. Mind reading is not a Saiyan power. It's not a blast.
Also, this chart actually says it in a very good way. On the very far left side, there's the angelic path, and it goes down to Ultra Instinct. It doesn't say the word Saiyan, because it has nothing to do with Saiyan. It has nothing to do with being a Saiyan.
Yeah.
Piccolo could get Ultra Instinct.
Oh yeah, which I want.
Yeah, like it's just saying that like that's like any like Tian could do this. It's just you have to be a divine being. So like if someone like Tian, for example, or Yamcha, to make the most ridiculous idea, were to get God key in their body, they could achieve that path.
Exactly, which I love. I love that ability, like that because it can revitalize old characters, and it gives you the idea that, like, oh, powers aren't just a hierarchy, they're diverse. And like I said before, like, we've seen Super Saiyans go up against gods. We've seen, because like, again, when Trunks fought Goku Black, I'm watching the Goku Black arc in Super right now, and what I love about it is it does a great job scaling power, because like the first time we see Goku Black, he's base form Goku fighting Trunks as a Super Saiyan, but Trunks isn't strong enough because he's just too strong, because he's using basically divine energy in a base form Super Saiyan, or a base form Saiyan, but he has no idea how to transform into a Super Saiyan. And then, of course, we fold over to Goku Black ends up going back in time somehow and fights Goku. And Goku transforms into a Super Saiyan, I think 3. He fights him as a Super Saiyan 3 and wrecks his shit. And Goku Black realizes that, oh, he's using the body wrong, because Goku Black is, spoiler alert, is Zamasu, which is a Kai. So a Kai and a Saiyan have different anatomies. Fun fact. I don't know what a Kai's anatomy is, but they're different, and the way you work their bodies is different. The same way that you work a cat's body to a dog's body is different, you know. So a Saiyan body, he doesn't know how to work it. So then after he fights Goku as a Super Saiyan 3, he realizes he knows how to use it more. So then he can transform into Super Saiyan Rosé, which is a mix between divine energy and Saiyan energy. Like, it's its own unique transformation. It's not Super Saiyan God or Super Saiyan Blue. It's not Super Saiyan. It's Super Saiyan Rosé. It's its own thing. And it's a manifestation of, again, wicked energy. It has wickedness in it. It has, like...
And not wicked like wicked sick, but wicked like evil.
Evil. Yeah, like evil intention. Like, with the intention of domination. And like, again, Atlas touched on this earlier with like a lot of the energy blasts. It depends on what emotions and what things you're channeling within your power up. So like Super Saiyan's caused by rage and desperation, whereas like Super Saiyan God, you can transform into Super Saiyan God by meditating. Like if Goku's just meditating hard enough, he might just accidentally transform into a Super Saiyan God because that's how it feels.
Right.
Like, and that's kind of what it is. Like, whereas something like Kaioken needs to be turned on like a light switch. You know, you have to be like choose to turn it on. And Ultra Instinct can even also be like I said, it's one of those things that you can just achieve, like, which is and Ultra Instinct itself is totally different, because Ultra Instinct isn't necessarily, it does give you a strength and speed boost and stuff like that for sure, but it's not nearly like the same thing as that. It's more or less, again, the idea of autonomous Ultra Instinct is your body just reacts perfectly to every situation. Like,
yeah, and it's if you watch that's the last saga of Super, where that happens, and you kind of see Whis is watching Goku, and he's like, oh, he notices, like him and Beerus notice he's doing it without knowing he's doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of thing.
So it's like, so he's, because in this it shows it's as called completed Ultra Instinct, where he's kind of aware of it. Autonomous Ultra Instinct is when you're in your base form and you're just aware. Like, it's just, you're just there all the time forever. And like, that's why it shows autonomous Ultra. And that although the English version, they said it funny. But like, Goku, it's again, it's a hierarchy, because there's Ultra Instinct Sign, which is what he does when he first fights Kefla, I think, or Jiren. I forget which one he fights first. But then by the end of the tournament, he gets the full Ultra Instinct, which is, and again, but he's aware of it. And that's kind of, and his body's not entirely ready for it either, because it backfires for him hard. And that's, again, so he doesn't have it down perfectly yet. But again, it goes to show you that there are just different types of power-ups. And then Ultra Ego, which was recently introduced in the manga, is a Vegeta transformation. Like, because again, Vegeta's whole entire thing is about his pride and his ego. However, Vegeta's journey from when we first meet him in Z to Super has been struggling with it, because he still struggles with his inferiority complex to Goku. He always does. So like, they need, like, so they're giving him basically, like, the writers in a really intelligent way, in my opinion, is they're giving him like his own unique transformation to say, yes, his obsession, the way he is also powerful. It also has an incredible amount of merit to it. It also has this ability, you know, like, it's unique. And I don't know what it does yet. I don't know what kind of power booster it is. I'm sure obviously it does the whole basic strength speed boosts.
Right.
Because that's what they all do. But they also have another level of things. Like, I love it in the Broly movie, for example, when Goku is fighting in Super Saiyan God form, the red Super Saiyan God form. He uses the technique and stops Broly in his tracks for a second. Like, he literally, like, it's not a blast move. It's a divine move. He literally, like, puts his fingers out in a couple ways. He does, like, a crank move. He kind of, like, moves his fingers like a crank. And he locks Broly in place for a second and goes, hey, calm down for a second. Let's talk. He's like, hey, man, slow down for a sec. And then he tries to tell him, he's like, hey, man, you can, like, not listen to, you don't have to fight for bad reasons. You can fight for fun. And then Broly loses his mind. But then that just goes to show you, that's Broly learning how to adapt to God energy immediately. That's all that shows. Like, because Broly turns the same move on Goku almost immediately. Goku does this, like, again, he does this divine, like, time stop on Broly's physical body. And then Broly, because he is this crazy, on ridiculous levels of power Saiyan, he can adapt to it very quickly. So he does. And Broly then adapts to it and learns how to, like, he doesn't learn how to do it. He doesn't do it consciously. He does it very subconsciously, but he turns the move on Goku, and then Goku ends up getting frozen for a second. And then Broly just, like, wrecks his shit for a few minutes.
Yeah. But, and Broly's a whole other class of weird, which you can see on this chart under where it says Wrathful Path.
Yeah.
And in the middle, and you can see that going down.
Yeah. He achieves a level of Super Saiyan called Legendary Super Saiyan. It's a different type of Super Saiyan. It's not the same thing. And it's actually, like, stronger than a Super Saiyan. It's kind of the idea is that, like, as a regular Saiyan, you get so fucking strong by way of just base survival instinct. Whereas, like, Super Saiyan takes a level of some level of sophistication and nurturement. Like, because, like, Vegeta was nurtured to some degree. Goten, Trunks, Goku, Gohan. They were all, like, had some level of morality and hierarchy. Broly didn't. Like, and also neither did really Kale, because all she cared about was being in love with Caulifla. Like, so like both of those characters are good examples of like they don't have a moral base. They just kind of exist to like they mildly protect the person that they care about, which was for Broly Paragus' father, and for Kale, it's Caulifla. So like both of them, they don't have a moral compass. They don't wave any flags. They don't practice any like discipline. They're just unadulterated raw emotion because that's all they know.
When they're in their base form, they're both very passive. Just extremely passive, like almost emotionless, just beings that live to breathe another day, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're like, again, it's because, and a lot of it comes into how they were raised. Like neither of those characters were really raised to be anything. They were like raised to like. Broly was literally raised to be a weapon to get revenge on King Vegeta, and Kale is just Caulifla's friend. Like, and that's all Kale really remembers and knows from what we understand from her character. We might learn more about her later, but for now, it's like all we know from her is that she's just like, yeah. So when they transform into Super Saiyan, it's not from the same motivation. It's more chaotic. It's more wild. It's more of like. It's more unapologetic even, because like even as a Super Saiyan, you can be like, well, I'm not going to attack my friend over here, but I am going to attack this person. Whereas when you achieve Legendary Super Saiyan, you're like, what's in front of me?
Yeah, everything. You have no control over yourself, basically.
Yeah.
They have no pupil, right? Their eyes are just white.
Yeah, their eyes are just white, which oftentimes implies a form of rage that you can't
like they have no. They're not looking anymore. They're just going.
Yeah, so that's like, and that's basically what happens with Broly. Like at one point, Broly's chasing Vegeta and Goku. And they literally just go in front of Frieza and say, have fun. And then Frieza gets his absolute shit pounded in by Broly for like 2 hours or whatever it is. I think it's just an hour, actually. But it's still so funny, though. So that's what the Legendary Super Saiyan form is. Again, it is itself a unique form of Super Saiyan. It's not the same thing. It's not the same one. And going back to what I was saying about Trunks, Trunks' Super Saiyan Rage mode. The reason why Trunks can now do Super Saiyan Rage mode is because he's come into contact with Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, Super Saiyan Blue Goku, and Super Saiyan Rose Zamasu. So like the only like once you understand divine energy, feel its power physically, like getting hit by it, you can have an understanding. Like Trunks didn't go through any formal training like with Whis or Beerus or Supreme Kai or anything like that. So he doesn't understand divine energy in any complex sense. But he does understand it in a completely raw, chaotic sense. So Super Saiyan Rage is basically like him taking what he knows and using it to have that extra transformation. So like even though Super Saiyan Rage is probably still not as strong as Super Saiyan Blue, it probably wastes a lot more stamina, I imagine. You probably rip through stamina a lot quicker because it's definitely more of like a berserk mode, you know, because again, your eyes go all white, you're really angry. Like that's why it's called Super Saiyan Rage. But it's still Golden Super Saiyan, and it has that blue aura which indicates it's still on the positive side of things. It's still saying like, no, Trunks is still in control, but he's very fucking mad.
He is like controlled by wrath, but he can think.
Yeah, but he won't punch. He won't go and punch Mai or something.
Right.
But again, the only reason he can transform into it is because he has just again a very animalistic, natural, only instinctual understanding of this god form. Because remember, all Vegeta said was like, "This is Super Saiyan Blue. One day you can achieve this." That's like all he says to him. That's not a teach. It doesn't teach him. He's like, "This is divine energy. This is how you feel divine energy. This is how you sense divine energy. This is how you use divine energy. This is how you manifest divine energy." Like those are all different things that Goku and Vegeta have learned that Trunks knows nothing about. But yet Trunks was still able to manifest it somehow because of just the brief contact he's had with the divine energy. So like that's why Super Saiyan Rage is again another unique transformation, and I love it, and it makes me so excited that like they can do these types of things and they can add like they can like add these levels and like add the diversity, because the same logic goes into the blast. We were talking about beams earlier, for example. Like I said, the Kamehameha is less of like a violent beam and laser as more of it's an extremely powerful push. Like it's such a powerful push it can break you apart at the microscopic level. Whereas again, like I said, Gallic Gun and an even better example is Final Flash, is there to burn you the fuck up, son. Like, that thing is meant to destroy you on, like, with radiation, fire, all the way down to the molecular level, pushing all of it. Like, and also there's differences between, like, Kamehameha, like a Gallic gun beam and a Final Flash beam. Like, there's thicknesses is a thing too, because if you notice, like, the way they fire beams, sometimes the thickness is around, like, let's say, like a tree trunk width. Like, if you think about, like, how wide, like just think of, like, a regular, like, birch tree, or, like, what's outside, like a palm tree, even.
Right.
If you're, like, think of, like, that thickness. That's what a lot of beams have. They have that sort of width to them. However, Final Flash has the width of a building. Like,
yeah.
It's a small house. So, like, it's not the same type of beam. Like, if you tried to catch, like, even though some of the video games did this, but if you really tried to catch, like, a Final Flash with a Gallic gun, it might not work, because Final Flash would consume the Gallic gun, because it would go around it. Whereas, like, and that's kind of what Cell and Gohan did with a major, gigantic Kamehameha wave at their last confrontation. Is basically was like it was such powerful Kamehameha waves, which again, Kamehamehas, they're just like, they're thin, not thin, but like tree trunk sized blasts. But they were so powerful that they were bouncing off to each other all the way, reaching all the way back to where they were first launching them. So it looked like a giant dome of energy that was just being engulfed by the two of them because of just how big it was. But that's what was going on. And then you have moves like the Spirit Bomb or Frieza's Death Beam.
I was just gonna say Frieza's fucking Death Ball that he uses to blow up planets.
Death Ball, yeah, like a Death Ball is another great example of, like, it's not a blast technique, it's not a wave, it's not a beam, it's literally a fucking it's a bomb. It's basically like a nuclear bomb.
You're also disconnecting it from your body.
Yeah, exactly. So and the whole purpose of that is to blow up. And the same thing with a Spirit Bomb. However, a Spirit Bomb, unlike Frieza's Death Ball, because again, Frieza's Death Ball is, like I said, it's a bomb. The whole point of it is to dig down deep and go boom. That's it. And it can be used to hurt people too, but usually he uses it to destroy planets. It's what he used to destroy, Vegeta. It's what he used to try to destroy Namek. Like, that's what Cooler tried to use against Earth. By the way, next week we're totally going to watch Dragon Ball Abridged, the Cooler movies in the Papcord. But it'll be a good time. But anyway, and then the Spirit Bomb is a similar blast to that, because it's a bomb. It's literally referred to as a bomb, so it has a similar effect. However, it's not a bomb the same way that, Frieza's Death Ball is, where it's there to blow up planets. It's there to it literally specifically targets malice, evil, chaotic energy. Like, it targets the manifestation of evil. So when he first uses the Spirit Bomb, he uses it against Vegeta, and it's only a small one, basically the size of what would be a normal Kai Blast, actually. However, it's still a Spirit Bomb. And Goku actually misses his first shot, and it has to be bounced back by... Or no, Krillin fires it, I forgot. Krillin fires it, and he misses, and it has to be bounced back by Gohan. But Gohan's terrified. He's like, this bomb is about to hit me and blow me up and kill me. But Goku points out, he's like, no, if your heart is pure in this moment, if you're thinking clearly of your goals and you know what your intentions are and they are pure, you'll bounce the thing right back and just hit Vegeta. And Vegeta in that moment was not thinking pure thoughts. He was thinking, I'm going to fucking bury these motherfuckers. That's what Vegeta was thinking. So when he got hit with the Spirit Bomb, it really hurt, but it didn't kill him. And that was one of the biggest tells, and this is kind of like implied. One of the reasons why Goku let him go was because if he was truly pure evil, the Spirit Bomb would have just killed him, but it didn't. He lived. He almost didn't make it, but he lived. And so that was basically like one of the reasons why Goku was like, no, let him go. He's like, I just have this feeling that he's going to be good, and then of course Vegeta turns good. However, fast forward 200 episodes when they're fighting Kid Buu. And they're launching the final Spirit Bomb that's the size of a small moon at Kid Buu, which has the power of purity and energy from the people of Earth, Namek, and surrounding planets. It destroys Kid Buu completely because he is the manifestation of pure evil and stuff. There is no saving Kid Buu. However, energy itself is pure, so that's why Goku wishes for Kid Buu to be reincarnated as Oob, to one day be hopefully a new friend and challenger to him. So the energy gets transferred, but the being itself gets completely annihilated. So, and it's why it even, by the way, implied that it didn't kill Frieza too. Although the other implication is that Frieza's just too fucking strong as well, and
and it just might not have been as strong of a spirit bomb at that point.
Exactly. That's basically the implication for that one. It's like it wasn't strong enough to take down, because it does need to be strong enough. Like again, if Goku threw a spirit bomb the size of the one he used against Vegeta at Kid Buu, he would have laughed at it.
Right. Yeah.
So it does need to be strong enough, but again, if it's strong enough, it can like Frieza probably could have gotten killed by it, but there was only like a handful of there weren't any Namekians left on the planet at that point. They're all dead. They couldn't drag any planet. I don't think he got anything from Earth because he's too far away. He got some energy from a couple surrounding planets, I think, but it was very little. So he didn't get enough. Again, it worked because it pissed him off enough to, for Frieza to take Goku seriously, but and then kill Krillin. But anyway, so and that's kind of how the blasts work too, to get into it more. And again, emotions and things tie into it completely. Some characters, for Vegeta, it would be really hard for Vegeta to use Kamehameha because he's angry all the time. He probably can if he's in a good, calm mood, but it's just not Vegeta's main MO, so Gallic Gun's more his thing. Whereas, Gallic Gun is still a push beam, but it also does a lot of, laser burning, scorching damage. It's a little bit more on that side of things.
He's just more of an aggressive fighter and more of an aggressive mindset, so he's there to do damage.
I'm trying to think of other good moves that are good examples of Broly's mouth blast techniques. He doesn't know how to use energy controlling enough, so it just comes straight out of his fucking mouth.
What about Vegeta's burst open and mix?
Burst open and mix is how he transforms into that big old Zaru.
Vegeta has the power to make a moon. Let's not forget about that.
Yeah, Vegeta literally does have the power to make a moon. But that in and of itself is an incredibly profound power. That's not necessarily that of an energy-hungry Saiyan or something. It's that's a very specific thing.
I really hope there's some huge bad guy that no one can beat, and they find out he's weak to moon energy, lunar energy, and he gets defeated by burst open and mix.
Or it helps weaken him enough.
That would make my day. Cause that's just that's one of those abilities that's been so forgotten.
Yeah.
Here's another good example of an ability. Also Vegeta, that's different. Talking about bombs, dirty fireworks.
Yeah.
He punches a dude with energy in his body and launches him in the air, and he's floating. And this dude can clearly see himself about to die, and he's struggling against it, and he explodes.
Yep. It's what he does to Kui, doesn't he?
Yeah, Kui, yeah. And then afterwards he does it, he laughs and goes, "Dirty fireworks," which is where the name comes from.
Oh, God.
Which I guess, I don't know if that's true this is, but I saw a story when I was looking up that move a long time ago. I saw something where in Japan he just says see you never or something. But in America, they changed it to Dirty Fireworks, and that took off in Japan, so the name officially became called Dirty Fireworks.
That's so sick. It's such a good nickname too. It's such a good power name. But yeah, no, this is why what I love about Dragon Ball so much is they're really adding a level of individuality and uniqueness to everything. Where there isn't any more one power is so much stronger than everything else, and once this character because that's almost what that is almost how Z felt. You know what I mean? Whereas there was Super Saiyan 1, there was Super Saiyan 2, there was Super Saiyan 3, and if you were a Super Saiyan 2, a Super Saiyan 1 could not beat you. If you were Super Saiyan 3, a Super Saiyan 2 could not beat you. Whereas this gives you an idea of maybe if you were a professional, skilled Super Saiyan 2, you could probably beat a rookie Super Saiyan 3. Right. And I like that. I like it how it gives that dynamic, because it's just yeah, you're right. A Super Saiyan 3 it has more of a power output, but he doesn't know how to control that shit yet, whereas a Super Saiyan 2 expert fucking knows how to put that thing on in his sleep, so, he'll put you down.
Yeah, they're going down a path where Vegeta and Goku and Gohan are having their own progression of different forms.
That's right, I didn't even mention Gohan, because Gohan in Dragon Ball Z gets one of the very first tastes of a unique new transformation that is on par with things like Super Saiyan 3, which is, of course, his unlocked... It's unlocked potential or something.
I think this list says ultra pure. I think it's the very top next to God. above
Ultimate
Super
form?
Saiyan.
It says ultimate form. It says ultimate form.
Ultimate form. Okay.
Mystic form. Mystic. Yeah.
Yeah, Mystic is what it's known as. Is Mystic form. Mystic Saiyan.
Yeah, Mystic form. That's
or
right.
Super
Yeah,
Saiyan Mystic. I've heard it called.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember, because the way you achieve that form is you have like that ritual done by the Supreme Kai or the Elder Kai, which he's a Supreme Kai, but like he is Supreme Kai level. It's not his job, but he is that level. It's the Elder Kai though. He does the ritual to Gohan to unlock it, and then when he says, "Well, how do I know I'm stronger?" He goes, "Well, just try to do that Super Saiyan thing that you do." When Gohan tried to turn into a Super Saiyan, he didn't. Instead, he unlocked his Mystic form. Because he realized, and even though he can still go Super Saiyan, he chooses now not to because his Mystic form is just genuinely more powerful. But he's out of practice in Super, and he gets it back. Before the Tournament of Power. But Mystic form is, again, it's on par with Super Saiyan 3. However, it is way calmer. Like Mystic form Gohan is like, again, on par with Super Saiyan 3, but it's way more calm. It's similar to like that idea of like slipping it on and off like a glove. It's very comfortable to sit in. It's you know what I mean? Like, whereas Super Saiyan 3, it's exhausting. It's an exhausting form. Even as Goku's mastering Super Saiyan 3, which he is mastering it, it's exhausting to him.
Also, I feel like Super Saiyan Mystic is, and I'm pretty sure he's actually officially said this, that it is going to advance. We're going to see more Mystic, and coming soon. The Dragon Ball superhero movie is apparently about him.
Yes, it is.
So I think we're going to see Gohan evolve into maybe like Mystic form Super Saiyan. You know what I mean? Like something like that.
Mystic divine.
Some crazy thing, which is cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that because, like, again. Like, remember, it's like Goku and Vegeta are being trained by Beerus and Whis, which is a very different form of divine power than Gohan being trained by the Supreme Kai, or the Elder Kai in this case. So, like, it's a different type of training. It's a different type of power. It's a different type of, like, understanding. So, like, again, the level of Mystic form could be that on par with Super Saiyan Blue or Ultra Instinct or Ultra Ego. We don't know because, again, like, it's brand new. And that's what I love. Like, that they're really diversifying the powers and putting them on par, and it's reinvigorating power levels again too. Like, we see them fighting in Super Saiyan, and it's fun to watch again. You're like, yay! Like in Super, they fight, like in the Tournament of Power and in Goku Black, they fight in Super Saiyan 2 and 3 and like quite a lot, like before they jump to Blue, and then Super Saiyan Rage, obviously, which Trunks does. But
yeah, and now Gohan is at that age and part of his life where Goku is in like the Frieza saga.
Exactly.
So Gohan is now a full adult. He has a kid. He has a wife, and
he's leveled out emotionally.
Yeah, he's leveled out emotionally, and I really want to see him now go forward. It seems to be the plan. He's going to be entering the stage as the third power. So it's not just Goku and Vegeta. It'll be Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan.
Yeah, I mean, it was always supposed to be. I mean, back in the original Akira Toriyama writing, for those who don't know, Akira Toriyama originally intended to end Dragon Ball after Cell.
Yeah, like it's very... No, when you hear that, you go, oh, that makes so much sense. Because Goku dies.
Yeah, Goku dies and leaves the next generation to be more powerful than the last. Like, because Gohan is stronger than he is, who is the next generation, and he is now in charge of defending, while, therefore, our previous hero has passed on. That was supposed to be... which is a great ending, by the way, and I love it. However, I like the series, and I like what they've done since then so much to where I wouldn't want them to go back and retcon it. You know,
no, 100% not. No, 100% not. And also, I feel like there's no reason why they both can't coexist. It's just Gohan got forgotten because of the fan love for Goku. But I feel like a lot of, I feel like Toriyama is now realizing, wow, there's more people who like Vegeta almost than Goku. And wow, there's people who really want Gohan to be forward. Because back in the day, the whole reason why the Majin Buu saga happened, if I remember correctly, is because Toriyama said people were upset Goku died.
Yeah.
They didn't like the fact that Goku is written out of the show. Like, it's like, what, you're ending it, you're getting rid of this character that I've known and loved, and just ending it with his dumb kid who's a teenager, like an edgy teen, like being a thing. So they kind of like, they got Gohan back as an adult, made him not as strong, but still, like, he got Mystic form and, like, was kicking Boo's ass. And then his Goku half, his, like, I just want to fight kind of mentality ruined him in the end. And it's just, and it's, I think people are now older. The
yeah.
fan base is older now, and the fan base is more understanding that, wow, Gohan's actually a cool character.
Yeah, well, he did everything he intended. Like, what I actually love about it, and I will always argue that, like, people are like, Gohan became shitty. I'm like, no, he did exactly what that character wanted to do. He got to almost live as happily ever after.
Yeah.
I love
There's
Gohan.
this whole story, and this goes back to old superhero comic book writing.
Yeah.
You can't be the superhero and live a normal life. It doesn't work that way. Gohan got that for a long time. He got to live that normal life.
And it's amazing.
He got to live his whole...
It made him weak.
Yeah, his whole teenage years, he got to be... he went to school. He graduated school. You know, or I don't know if he did, but I think he does, right?
Yeah, I think he does. It's implied that he.
Yeah, because in Super he's like older. Yeah, everyone's
in
older.
Super he graduates college and becomes like a TA or some shit.
Yeah, and it's
but by really young. He's only like 20 something.
Yeah.
Although they never. By the way, this is an annoying thing. They don't age Trunks and Goten at all.
No.
Even though they age everybody else. Like,
yeah, in my mind, it's kind of like, oh, they went from like maybe being like 6 to 10.
Yeah,
and in a lot of anime stuff like Pokemon, 10-year-olds and 5-year-olds don't have a difference. There is no difference in a lot of Japanese anime between that age of children. There's baby, child, and late teen. Those are the stages of life.
Yeah.
So
it's
like Teen Gohan.
In Dragon Ball, they do it.
Teen Gohan is barely different looking than he was in the Frieza saga. He just has his hair cut.
They do this with Gohan. In Dragon Ball, like when he's first introduced, he's like 3 to 5 years old or something like that.
He's 4. He says, "I'm 4," puts his fingers up.
Yeah, that's right. He's like, I'm 4. And then, but like years later, he does get bigger, but it's such small amounts. And when he stands next to characters like Piccolo and Goku, he looks so small it doesn't matter. So like, you can't tell that in the Frieza saga, he's like older by like quite a bit. And like, he is drawn bigger. He really, really is. But it's so hard to notice because they do such a shitty job.
Yeah, and I mean, I would love another time gap. I would love to see, and I mean, we're getting one with Superhero because Pan is now like 4 in Superhero. Yeah. So we're getting another year time gap, but in the same little trailer preview, you see Goten and Trunks still as little kids. But then,
I'm like, they gotta get
But
older.
then also, Toriyama forgot Dende was a character for like the Buu saga. So, I mean, that's just him.
Yeah, I mean, like, the probably, again, like, the thing that, like, there's a narrative problem with, for example, you brought up the Buu saga. Like, I actually have a lot of fondness for the Buu saga, but it's a narrative fucking mess. Like, because they introduce so many concepts like fusion, like mystic form, that don't pay off. Like, they're just like, here we go, here's the ultimate ace in the hole, and it's totally irrelevant, and something totally different happened, and it doesn't even matter, and it's just like, they introduce so many ideas and replace them.
I think I like that a little bit because it kind of shows the desperation of struggle. Like, we got this new way to beat Majin Buu. Oh, it didn't work. Okay, we got this other. Oh, it didn't work. And it's just like, it is the end.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like it was a little bit of like, we are struggling to finish it, so we have to finish it. And then also, Toriyama's like, I have these ideas I want to put in.
Yeah, exactly.
Before I end my thing.
Yeah, like, the ideas weren't put in the smoothest way possible.
Yeah.
But again, the ideas were so cool, we all accepted them anyway. Because fusion is awesome. It's fucking cool. It didn't work, but it was awesome. Like, it's only worked against Broly. That's like all it's worked. Like, except unless you count the other B-side movies, Fusion's literally never won the match. And
it's never going to be forgotten. It's going to keep coming back.
And it's great, and I love it. I think it's fun. It adds a totally different column of power ups and stuff like that. I'm in it. Like, it's great. And then also like mystic form again. So, but yeah, I don't know. I think that what I love about Dragon Ball is like where the direction it feels to be going. Like, it seems to be going, which is this diversity. It's giving people a chance to achieve their own unique forms of power-ups. I'm so excited to see what Gohan does. I'm a little nervous for the animation style because it looks like it's CG, and I'm like, no, that looks bad. But that's just my opinion. Because I thought Dragon Ball Broly looked fucking fantastic, but the worst parts about it were some of the CG bits.
It does, yeah. Broly was
fantastic. Cheaper. It's so cheaper. Yeah. Like, yeah, Broly looks so fucking good. Hopefully they don't do the whole thing CG, because it's just cheaper, and I understand why they would, but yeah. Oh, MJ has a good power-related question. We can add, like, if anybody has a theory or question, we could open it up now, because I'm done with my
we're pretty much wrapping it up. We're gonna rate Doll Cakes probably as soon as she goes live.
Yeah.
But yeah, if anyone has questions they can ask, go ahead.
I like this one. So Instinct fusion with Royal Blue do? Okay,
I'm trying to understand the English in that.
Yeah.
So Royal Blue is the very bottom, right below God. That's what I'm looking at, or is that the very
Royal Blue? The Royal Blue is the one that Vegeta gets in the Tournament of Power.
Yeah. He's got that really dark blue aura around him.
Yeah, If he fused with Goku as Ultra Instinct, that would probably... What would happen if you... Sorry, phone fucked me. What would happen if you combine those two forms? So Ultra Instinct and Royal Blue? I mean, if you gave Goku and Vegeta Patara earrings while he was in Ultra Instinct mode and while he was in Royal Blue, it would probably be it might destroy Ultra Instinct, though. Because Ultra Instinct is in and of itself a different mindset.
It's Goku's body specifically and mind, right? So
exactly.
I don't think it would make like a new form.
It wouldn't make a new. Yeah, I think it would probably mostly rely on Super Saiyan Royal Blue. It would probably they would probably stay in that form, and then maybe because Goku's instincts are still more advanced and half of the fusion, it would increase the instincts. But I don't think you'd see like a Royal Blue Ultra Instinct thing. I mean, you do see, like, Kaioken attached to Super Saiyan Blue. Like, you see that, obviously. But, like, that's a totally different multiplier altogether. So that's, like whereas some things I don't... Like, because Ultra Instinct just feels like it's so unique and individual. And it just comes down to, like, you have to master it yourself. And if Vegeta can't master it, then it's just not going to happen. That reminds me, I need to get... Dogkick's Funimation password again.
Would it give Vegeta the taste to achieve something else? I would think so if he got to do Ultra Instinct in that form. But again, yes. I don't think he would. I think Ultra Instinct would be taken away from that.
I don't think Vegeta also can achieve it yet because, like, I remember at one point I loved it in the Tournament of Power arc. Vegeta's like, Kakarot achieved Ultra Instinct when he was taking a beating and absorbed a certain amount of power. Let me just try to, like, calm down and try to do it. Like, Vegeta tried to also feel Ultra Instinct, but then he got really mad. It was such a great scene. And then he transforms into a base level Super Saiyan and just punches a guy out of the ring. Like, because he's just like, I can't do this. Fuck this. Like, but then, as these fights, Topo, he transforms into Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, or Royal Blue, as I like to call it.
Super Saiyan... Or Vegeta's not a meditating person.
No.
Vegeta doesn't...
He's a brooder. He stands on cliff sides, stares up at the sky, and broods.
Yeah. That's his form of meditation. It's just
exactly.
Her hating himself.
Basically. Yeah, that's basically Vegeta. And because Goku meditates, but Goku also sleeps like a rock. Like, that's one of Goku's biggest traits is, like, he knows how to sleep and party hard when it's time. Like, that's where he's, like, kind of special in his own little unique way.
Yeah. And it's Super. The one thing Super did seem to make him dumb. Like, dumber than normal. But I feel like he's less dumb during moments. I think it's just he has that split. Like, he's dumb, but then he's also very serious when it comes to when he needs to be.
To become Super Saiyan, Vegeta whined, I want it! 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 I want it!
It's true, yeah.
I mean, like, to be fair, like, here's the real thing with Vegeta, to be fair to him. He was so powerful. His base form was so strong. He was already strong enough to be a Super Saiyan. But it wasn't until his, obviously, like, the canon is that he was on a planet that was about to blow up, and he had to escape, and the only way he could be quick enough to escape was Super Saiyan. So, like... that's the canon version, which is fine, but really it's because he wanted it really bad. Everyone cheated in the Frieza saga. Those Zenkai boosts, dude, they give you such power boosts. So many Zenkai boosts. Oh, yeah. Or fusion with someone like Broly who is more primal. Yeah, that'd be crazy. If Vegeta and Broly fused... It would probably be that could probably achieve a new transformation.
The colors wouldn't mix. It'd be this very ugly brown color Super Saiyan. That we don't want that.
Super Saiyan diarrhea.
Yeah. Baby vomit Super Saiyan. Okay, got it.
Well, it could achieve another level altogether, though, which could be a totally different cover. You know what I mean? So Legendary Super Saiyan plus Divine Energy. Like, what is Legendary Super Saiyan plus Divine Energy? What does that look like?
I wouldn't be surprised if we see it one day. I have a feeling...
It says God Saiyan on it, but that looks like shit.
I have a feeling we're going to start seeing Broly more as a character now that the movie came out and was so successful, and people obviously love it, and it canonized Broly as part of the lore of
and it made Broly more empathetic.
It made him a real character, and he's not going to become a gross mudman.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, Bio Broly. We don't talk about Bio Broly. There were like 5. Yeah, Vegeta got like 5 Zenkai boosts in the Frieza saga. I mean, but that's exactly why. Like by the time it was time for Vegeta to transform into a Super Saiyan, he had so many Zenkai boosts. He caught up for sure. Like
also,
and
like
he was technically more powerful than Goku.
When they discovered the Zenkai boost, it was like, dude, let's exploit this meta as fuck.
Yeah,
like they just went super hard meta gamers and just exploited Zenkai boost, and Goku just punched himself to near death.
It's good shit though. It all worked out great. But yeah, I don't know. Krillin, shoot me. Dende, heal me. I love it when Dende's like, no. Wow, you guys both. Man, I might play some Xenoverse while I'm watching Dogkick stream now.
Yeah, she's live right now, so I think we're probably good to wrap it up here.
All right, sounds good. Hey, Atlas, would you do me a favor after we say goodbye? Can we just count down together 3, 2, 1, just so that way I can sync up the audio better? But
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can sync.
But anyway, thanks all for hanging out for our first episode of Lore Lords. I hope you all followed along. I know it can be kind of confusing because this chart looks like a lot, but there's a lot of good stuff in Dragon Ball, and there's a lot of extra deep lore that they're finally exploring more, and they're finally trying to justify things. And as a martial artist, personally, I am obsessed with this stuff. So thank you, Atlas, for allowing me to rant about Dragon Ball for an hour and 50 minutes. And next time, Lore Lords, it'll be Atlas's topic of choice.
That's right. Next time we're gonna have, should be next Thursday or Friday. We'll figure that out. But on one of those days, we'll be live again here for the second episode, which I will be doing. It's going to be a non-fiction story. And it's going to be very interesting with a lot of fun facts. If you like game development and video games in general, be sure to tune in for that.
Hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah.
We're going to head over to Dollcake now and raid that. Thanks for watching and listening. This should be up on some probably audio service at some point.
Maybe. I don't know how to... We'll figure
that out. That'll be figured out later. Maybe just a VOD. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Pat?
Thank you so much.
All right.